I'm here to say Victor. How's everybody doing today? Amazing, I hope. Today we're going to do another in my series of Would I Buy It Again? And to add an extra twist, because I had two rainbow palettes, I'm also going to do a battle of the rainbow palettes. The two that I'm using is from Colored Raine and Beauty Bay. Can you guess which eye belongs to which? So if you want to find out, see how I got this look, how these palettes work, and would I buy them both? Would I buy just one? Would I buy neither? So if you'd like to find out, you're in the right place and you need to keep on watching. Okay, so it is going to be Battle of the Rainbow Palette. And would I buy these again? So in our new series where we're going to test out some of our older palettes, maybe even sometimes newer palettes, and to see would we buy them again. So I believe I had this one first. So this is the Colored Raine Vivid Pigments and Shadows. I just bend it over here. This is its beautiful color story here. This was my first dip into Colored Raine shadows. I had been eyeing it for a while. Didn't really have a rainbow palette before really, and yeah, so I tried that. So this time I decided to do it as a battle, and we're going to be battling against the Beauty Bay Bright Mattes. This one I got a little bit of FOMO because a lot of the people that I'm patrons for in our group, they've all bought this one and loved it so much. So even though I had the smaller rainbow palette, I went and I got ourselves this big one, which I believe is a 42 shade palette. Does that say that on there? I think it's 42 shades. Yes, so 42 color palette. So what I thought I would do, since a lot of the colors are basically, even though this is a more concise rainbow palette, this one they have a lot of the same tones and colors. So I thought what we can do is we'll do one eye the Beauty Bay, one eye the Colored Raine. I won't mention which is which until the end, or maybe you can guess. And then we will decide, would I have bought each of these? Would I bought one over the other? And we're about to find out. So the first thing I'm going to do, as per usual, is I'm going to prime my eyes. We are going to grab my favorite brush for eye primer, which is this Jaclyn Hill brush, and I can never remember what number it is, and I don't have my glasses on, but anyways, it's one of these ones, Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. And then I'm going to get myself a little mirror, and then I'm going to find, so my project pan basket is getting a little chaotic. There are definitely some things that I'm getting near to ending, which is very exciting. But then every once in a while, I just lose a small tube in here, which happens to be, there we go. Okay, so we are panning the one from Juvia's Place. This is the one I'm probably going to end up keeping, but I've been also working on the P. Louise base here. This one I think is in O2 from the Pro base. So that's going to be the next one that I'm going to pan, but I've been using it when I've done a cut crease. So we always have to remember with this one that you give it a shake first before you use it, or you get this little squirt of water. I guess it separates a little bit and it just needs a little shake, and then it goes on really, really nice. Just in case you've not seen me use it before, or you've not used the Juvia's Place primer, I really do like this one. It hasn't seemed to wreak any kind of havoc with any of my shadows, like making them last less or anything like that. So there we go. So we got a little base on here. So I'm going to be going out. So I don't know how crazy we want to go. This is just going to be a comparison to see if I would buy one or both of these palettes again, if I've had any buyer's remorse. So, and then the other thing I need to do is wash my freaking brushes. Alrighty, so let's see what we're going to do here. So definitely, just as looking at this palette again, this one is definitely more limited in tones. It does have a little bit on the blues and the purples, so it's really easy to pull from there. But for things like yellows and greens, there is more to pull from in the other palette. So that will kind of maybe limit our color story a little bit. I'm wearing green, but the one palette only has 2 greens and a yellow, and the other one has 3 greens and a few yellows. So I think we're going to do what I've been liking lately, and let's do blue looks on each eye. Let's get ourselves a lightly fluffy brush to start it off with. So I'm going to use my Suva Beauty, this little fluffer here. And then we're going to pick our blue, and then we are going to go from there. And we're going to try as close as possible to stick to the same colors, so that way I don't look too ridiculous if I go out with, because I'm going out with my mother and my dad. If it was with friends, I wouldn't care if I had 2 different colored eyes, whatever. But, you know, parents. All right, so I'm not good. My memory is usually pretty crap, so I have to do both eyes at the same time. So I'm just gonna really clean off this brush so I can use the same type of brush. I don't have multiples, so all the color is off there. And then let's see if I can find something similar. So let's go into this one for the other palette that I'm trying. And then I couldn't remember if these were had any problems with fallout, so I thought maybe I would just not do my base, and then I'll do my base after when we have final thoughts. So again, I'm trying to do a more rounded look. Right now, they're both going on for the 2 palettes. They're both going on the same amount, I think, of blending and opacity. Definitely the 2 palettes. So for the one that I'm doing right now, for this eye, it does have a, does it have a darker blue, or is this the darkest? No, it definitely does have a darker blue than the other palette. So I took the next bluest one, which I think was the closest match. But on the camera, maybe they may look similar, but they are a little bit different in tones for sure. This one here is definitely a little bit more brighter. I guess leans more towards a true blue or more true cobalt blue, where the other one seems to maybe have a little bit of green in. So we'll build these up possibly a little bit more later. We just want to go and place what we're going to do. So then I'm going to go into the next closest shade for each eyeball. All right, make sure our brush is clean. So that's the fluffy one that we're using for the darkest blue. And now let's take this one that's a little bit less fluffy. It's from Suva as well. And then we're gonna go into the next closest blue. Kind of almost tried out that laying the colors and blending it in hack that people have been trying, and see how that works. And then both of these palettes are matte palettes. They have no shimmers in them. So maybe when I go to finish up my base, I may possibly pop the shimmer into each lid. I don't know. So there we go. That's going to be the middle shade. So we're just going to try, I guess, maybe 3 shades of blue, and then we'll see what we want to pop into our inner corner. And if we want to do another color shades along the bottom, maybe pink along the bottom. Okay, so this is a nice and bright blue. I like that, that's very pretty. And same thing, this one goes on really nice. It's blending really easy. I'm not having any problems. I don't see any balding or patchiness. Hopefully you don't see anything. Sometimes the bright lights do make things look a little bit different than what we see in IRL, in real life. So let's really clean this brush off again really well, so there's no color left on it. And then we're gonna go in the corresponding one in the other palette. This palette definitely has a bit more kick up on the side. And I think for both the brands, Colored Raine and Beauty Bay, they've both been popular palettes. Oh, these colors are definitely more comparable than the darker shade. But this one may go on a teeny bit better. Okay. Right, so it's pretty similar. All right, so you could, so far it's looking like you could, if you wanted a bigger palette, sure enough, go with the Beauty Bay. If you wanted color Raine, you could definitely get some of the same looks with a more concise package. I'm not really, the only thing with the color Raine, you're not getting a black or a white because there's a kind of a neutral roll on top of the bright mattes, because a lot of people do like to have a white and a black and, you know, a few neutrals in a palette that's this big for more versatility. All right, so now for the inner bit, let's quickly grab one of my smaller ones. This is also a Jaclyn Hill brush. I really like these little nebby ones. So it could be, maybe I might at another point go see if Morphe or another brand, if anybody can recommend one that's kind of like this. I did do one in my mug order, which I hope is kind of like that to try. Not that I could buy any more later. But there we have it. And then now for the inner corner, let's see if I can find the closest in the lightest blue. Or did we want to change it up a little bit and do pink? Yeah, let's do that. Let's not make a total blue eye. Let's put pink in the inner corner, because for the lightest blue, I don't find anything that's, I think, close enough that I would be happy with. So I think putting in a bright pink in the front would be really good. So I think that's the target that I'm going to go with. So we're going to do on the inner, do this beautiful bright pink, and then each palette has, I think, a relatively similar shade in that pink. And you just got to be a little bit careful when you bring it near the blue, or you're going to have purple. Which I guess is not too bad if the edges touch and make a little bit of purple. I just don't want to bring all the purple to the front of the eye. And then what we will do is we'll do then a little blend and color intensify. There we go. And then on the other side, let's see if I can find one that is similar. Yeah, I think this should do it. So make sure, again, my brush is really clean. And I think this one should be similar. Yeah, definitely the same type of pink. And again, when I touch the edge, I get a little, it turns into a bit of purple, but I'm actually cool with that. So there we go. So this is our little slightly rainbowy look, I guess. And then maybe for inner corner, let's use the same brush. Let's clean it off really well. And each one has an actual bright yellow and the rest lean either towards mustard or orange. So let's take the yellow and do a matte inner corner. So I'm going to do the one palette in the one eye. I think for me, that's what's missing in each palette is a little bit more yellow and orange. Okay, so this is not a super bright yellow on the eye. It's really pretty though, but it looks brighter in the pan than when I put it on my eye. And now let's see if we have that same with the other side. Actually, this one goes on more yellow than orange, a little bit more. Yeah, definitely. So this one's definitely more a yellow, that feels to me. Okay, so for the bottom, let's quickly, I'm going to clean off this little brush really well. And then along the bottom, I'm going to repeat the same colors from each different palette. And there we go. So this is what we've got going here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go off camera. I'm just going to go clean up, intensify maybe a little bit, and then I'll come back to a full face and then we can discuss what we think. Alrighty. We'll be back in a second. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and we're back. Here is our final look using the two palettes. I should have on this eye, I think I should have used the black eyeliner glue, but anyways, I actually even put on lashes. How's that? Alrighty, so I don't know if you can guess which is which. I'll let you know in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This eye here is colored Raine. So that was this palette here. And I basically used this one for the darkest blue, this one in for the middle. It just has the one yellow and then this one super bright pink. That's what I used from this palette. They do have names, but again, I don't have my glasses on. If I remember, I will quickly pop them up on top when I'm editing. So that is the colored Raine, vivid pigments and shadows. And then, so that means on this eye, we've got our Beauty Bay. And then again, that's our palette there. It's the Bright Mattes, 42 shades. This is technically the darkest blue, but I used this blue as the darkest because this was the closest to match. Then I used this one as the middle shade. I used this yellow here for the yellow. And then, oh, and then for the pink, I used this super bright pink here. Yeah, I can't. Oh, I tell you, I'm getting old. So anyways, that bright pink there. So comparing them. So had I bought this palette first, I wouldn't have felt the need to get the colored Raine. To be honest, I think if you want more bang for your buck, this is, Beauty Bay is definitely more cost effective. You've got 42 shades in here and their mattes are spectacular. It's their shimmers that I have a teeny bit of an issue with. They're beautiful, but they just don't last that long on me, but their mattes are beautiful. I really do like this palette, but you can definitely create basically almost the same look. The pinks, the middle blue were pretty similar. The yellows weren't that much off. It's just the color Raine one ran a little bit, teeny bit more orange, just a smidge. But, and then I just put a little shimmer on top. I had a little bit of this mermaid glittery stuff that I got off of Titmouse. So, what do I want to say? If you want to support small Black owned beauty brands, I would say colored Raine. I really like it. Of course I don't regret buying it. It was my first foray into their shadows. I love the quality. So if you want a more smaller, concise palette, I would totally go with this one. But again, if you want to go for price, amount of shadows that you get, and also really good quality, I would probably do the Bright Matte first. So again, had I already owned this, I probably wouldn't have got this. There were too many colors the same. But since I got this one, I'm not unhappy that I bought the bigger one with more colors to play with. But if push comes to shove, which one would I buy again? I think it would be the Beauty Bay Bright Mattes, because it also has the black, whites, some neutral shades. So this is definitely a palette. For all matte looks anyways, you could probably just take a cream shimmery shade or like this, like a light glittery shade with you, and that's all you would need. You can do tons and tons and tons and tons of looks with this. Not that you couldn't with this, but it is definitely more limiting. So if you want size, good quality, supporting a small Black owned woman brand, 100% colored Raine. Like I said, I don't regret buying it. I love this palette. But if I could only pick one, I would probably pick the Bright Mattes, I think. And I'm normally not a big palette person. I have very few big palettes. This is probably the biggest palette I think that I own for amount of shadows, and I really do like it. So anyways, that's my quick battle of rainbow palettes, the colored Raine, vivid pigments and shadows, and then the 42 shade Bright Matte palette from Beauty Bay. And then also, one more note, if you're in the US, this is definitely going to be easier to get for you. And then if you're in the UK, this is probably easier to get for you because I'm not sure if Beauty Bay carries colored rain anymore. I know they used to, I think. But anyways, I think definitely, again, UK, this would be easier to get, and this would be easier to get if you were in the US. So that said, that's it for me. If you'd like to give us a like, comment, and subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. And if you want to know when I upload, hit that notification bell. If not, that's okay. We can still be friends. We can still do palette battles. We can still do would I buy these again? And yeah, so make good choices, behave, have a great day, evening, weekend, whenever you're watching this, and we will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.